Well, guys, do we have our guest on the line? All right, so let's go ahead and bring in Hamid Adli. Now, Hamid, we interviewed you the other night, and thank you so much for coming on the show. You attend the same mosque. You actually have been going to this mosque since you were, I guess, 3. You said, and this is where the suspect was actually attending this mosque. So can you talk to me a little bit? Now in the days since this attack, we've learned that the FBI said that Saeed and his wife were actually radicalized up to 2 years ago, and that they had been planning other things. And so, did you get any kind of indication? I mean, were there any signs of this sort of radicalization? And how would you know?
Never, not at this mosque. And I'm sorry, just to correct you, I've been going there since 3rd grade.
Third grade, okay.
So,
I knew there was a 3 in there.
yeah. So pretty much I've been going there all my life. And again, this is a place where I go for spirituality, to find God, to find peace. Never did I ever see any radicalization or any craziness like this. Mosques are open to everybody, Muslims and non-Muslims, and we have a lot of people come and go over the years. And he happened to be one of them. And he went there during the Friday prayers. As you know, Friday is our holy day. And that's the day we pray, like Sunday is for Christians. Mm-hmm. So he would attend Fridays, and he would come in. And I'm sorry, you said something about, did I see any evidence of radicalization along the lines on his part of the suspect?
Yeah, I mean, I guess, a lot of people say Islam is a religion of peace, but then you have other people going, oh, read the Quran itself and the passages there. So how do you know when someone is taking it across the line to where they're now taking these passages out of abstraction and into like, well, this is actually what we need to do, and it's shouldn't be left in the medieval times.
Right. Well, you're always going to have a small minority of angry people, I think, anywhere you go. A lot of those verses that pertain to those type of subjects will revealed at a time of war or battle thousands of years ago.
But we are at a time of war and battle. I mean, people argue that this is now. So.
Well, I would say we're not really at war per se. I'd say these are like different, a lot of isolated cases, a lot of nutcase mental illness type people that are taking these verses out of context and going out, and massacring innocent people, because, this is anti-Islamic, and there's verses in the Quran that clearly say this, just to quote one, chapter 5, verse 32, if you kill one person, it's as if you kill mankind. All of mankind. So that's just to give you an example of some of the positive aspects. I think a lot of people focus on the negative, and what I'm trying to do here is, say, hey, if you focus on the negative parts, obviously you're going to have a negative attitude towards Islam. Try to look at the positive, try to look at the positive verses, because many religions have these type of verses in them that pertain to war. Mm-hmm. I don't want to name other religions. Obviously, my message is complete positive and love towards everyone. But I would say, many different religious books have.
Well, you look at the Old Testament of the Bible; it's littered with, eye for an eye. A lot of, people killing each other.
Right. The difference is, people stopped for the most part. They stopped killing people about 500 years ago. So.
Well, people. The thing is, people haven't stopped killing people.
Bringing it back around.
And it's easy to I think couch something and they try to say it's a hate crime if a white person kills a black person, and you know what? If you kill anybody, it's a hate crime.
Right.
Period.
And
we just got to give.
I'm against all. Yeah, we're against all shootings. I mean, I'm against all of these massacres. If there's a way to stop these, to prevent all of these shootings, not just the Muslim ones, but the non-Muslim ones, like the guy who shot up the Planned Parenthood. I mean, if he's a gun owner, and I know a lot of your audiences are, great, standing up for the right to bear arms, and I would say, what if you don't like to be clumped? A gun owner doesn't like to be clumped in the same category as a person like that. You can't clump them all in the same category. So I would say, if you see this guy Farouk, you can't clump all Muslims and say, hey, we're all at war, we're all going to go fight, because that's not the case. Just like all gun owners are not going to go and massacre innocent people. It's just not true.
So what do you think about Donald Trump's comments on saying that he would like to have a plan where we don't bring in anybody from, I guess that's a Muslim, unless they've until they have a properly vetting
Properly
system,
vetted.
a proper vetting system.
If they're coming from these
Right.
places.
How do you feel about that?
Well, I think that's the way he said it, I think, is un-American in my opinion. I think he needs to reevaluate how he says things because the way he comes off, he's always like targeting certain people, and it's every day I turn around, it's like some other group he's talking about. But obviously, every country has a vetting system. So if there's going to be a system that vets potential terrorists or potential radicals, then yeah, you should vet those, because even Muslim countries have systems like this. So I mean, I'm all for it. Just in general, to vet cuckoo and crazy people in general. There's a vetting system to prevent these kinds of shootings in general. I mean, I'm all for it. But yeah, I mean, even Muslim countries have systems like this where they vet these type of radicals. Radical extremism is anti-Islamic, and we have to speak up against them. These are not Muslims, and they're making all of us look bad. And actually, we're becoming the victims of these radicals and these extremists, because now people are targeting innocent Muslims
Well,
here.
what did you think about how they tried to justify the massacre at Charlie Hebdo, for instance, or these two guys that attempted to attack the event in Garland, Texas, over drawing the cartoon of the Prophet Muhammad?
Yeah, exactly.
What were you thinking in your inner circle?
Yeah, exactly. These are radicals that are just on the other side of the spectrum, like I was saying the other day. These are people that are a certain minority of radical, and I don't even want to call them Muslim, because some of them are so extreme and so un-Islamic that I don't even know if they're Muslim. I don't even know if they're just pretending to be. Like that guy who came on the video that he was talking about Trump in a very aggressive.
The one who wanted to circumcise him.
Yeah, I don't know if these are people that are just trying to become famous, or they're just really angry, and they're just using it as a way to vent and just again just a mental illness and just craziness. But yeah, these are people that are in the minority. These are radicals and extremists that we are against, and it's completely un-Islamic.
All right.
Yeah, I think the internet has kind of created this whole thing. Where it's a breeding ground for mental illness. People with
absolutely.
no moral compass get these ideas, and they're able to be programmed in an instance.
And it can be completely anonymous to have their crazy ideas put out there.
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and take a call from Catherine in Texas. She wants to talk about Islamic doctrine.
Okay.
Hi, thank you for taking my call. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
I have a comment and a question for the guest. I, as an American, have been reading a lot and studying a lot about Muslims, because when we have a group of people who are wanting to do things against our Constitution, all of us should learn their rules and their books. And here's the issue that I have. When Muslims are a minority, they are taught that they have to be pretending to be friends with the Jewish and the Christian people, which the Quran says they should not befriend. And so this is a moral value, okay? When a person is taught that they can lie to you about whatever it takes, so long as it's, intensifying or increasing Islam wherever they go, to me, they're not trustworthy anywhere they go. Mm-hmm. So I have an issue with the Muslims, because if you guys are taught that you can lie to us, Americans, in order to advance Islam when you're a minority in the country, then we need to be aware of that. And here's the thing. The gentleman who you have as a guest, if he doesn't denounce those things in Sharia, then he's part of the problem. And people in the internet and in the news are correct in saying that it is not this aggravated Islam that we're dealing with. This is the stuff that they all learn. It's in their book. It's their doctrine. So I want to ask them, how are we supposed to trust any of you when you have a doctrine that teaches you to lie to the people so long as you're advancing Islam?
Right. And I absolutely understand what you're saying.
Thank you, Catherine.
Yeah. So again, this is again, I have to stress that the doctrine, the Sharia, all of these things are open to interpretation. So you have different types of Muslims. So you might have an extremist that is ascribing to a specific doctrine, okay, that was revealed at a certain time. thousands of years ago. Like if you look at, here, I mean, hundreds of years ago, the Jim Crow laws, right? That was laws that were enacted at a certain time, which are now illegal. So when you're looking at religion and some of the Sharia interpretations and doctrine, these are things that were revealed thousands of years ago that these extremists are taking out of context now. And when you're reading this, I completely understand. But you see, a lot of different religions have these type of things in them.
Well, but do you see how ISIS or these other groups are trying to push this narrative that they have the grasp on the true Islam, and so then you see the young people who are really wanting to gravitate toward this religion and be as devout as they possibly can. They're going this way, and it's social media or whatever. They're telling them that this extreme version of Islam is what is the truth, and more moderate people or those who aren't as vocal or loud aren't being heard, and the other people are dominating the conversation, basically.
Right. You're right. And this is an issue within the community, Muslim community, and organizations like CARE and others are actually standing up now and having meetings to address this and have more moderates speak out against them, because we have to speak out against them in order to prevent these youth from being brainwashed by these psychopaths, these extremists, these fanatics. And to your caller, I would say, go out and make friends with Muslims. Go out and to the mosque. It's open to everybody. Come to us and we can have a dialogue. I was never taught to lie to non-Muslims, and that thing, that taqiyya, that was revealed in 765 AD. So you're talking about 1,000, 2,000 years ago. So that was in a time when one sect was had some conflict with another sect. It was actually a conflict within Muslims, and that they're taking that out of context now, and ISIS and these other crazy organizations and telling people to lie. But I was never taught that. I mean, I have a lot of Christian, non-Muslim friends. I mean, I grew up here, and I've never lied to them to further any cause. I'm just a regular person, so you got to differentiate and between these. But I can understand where she's coming from because she's going online. She's.
So you mean that you are not part of this diabolical plan to have Islam rule the world?
It doesn't sound like it at all. Mr. Aldi, I have a question real quick as we're going to break. What would you say to Muslims who are coming here? Do you think they should assimilate to American values, which it seems you've done, and you seem successful, you were born here, but what would you say to Muslims who are coming here? Should they?
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, I want you to answer that question right after.
We'll try to get to some more calls, too.
Yeah, right after the break. All right, we are in the final segment here of the Alex Jones Show. This is the Overdrive Hour. I'm Leanne McAdoo, joined in studio by Rob Dew. Now we are going to go take one more call for our guest, Hamid Adly. I wanted to go ahead and give out your website you just started, Hamid. It's MuslimPeacePledge.com. You can also ask Hamid any questions. He's on Twitter @MuslimPledge. Now let's go ahead and take a call from Jeremy in Kansas. Go ahead.
Thank you so much for having this important conversation. I wanted to bring up the issue of state-sponsored false flag terrorism, treasonous in nature that uses Islamic people as patsies. And that's not to say that there isn't a Takfiri, Wahhabist death cult that people mainly in the Arab Muslim world need to root out, because they do. But let's deal with San Bernardino. It just a third eyewitness has just come on the record. Cheers.
He saw a driver. Yeah, he said the driver was a regular white dude, right? Is that what you were going to say? Sorry to steal your thunder.
Yeah, he's the third eyewitness who said that there was 3 shooters. They were large, athletic, and apparently Caucasian. And this is an additional thing. He said that he was actually called by an unknown person on 7 p.m. of the evening of the shooting, who told him to say that he should say it was Saeed Farouk who was the shooter. And the other piece that has just come out is a SWAT team medic said that they were running the SWAT drill at the very same time. And he said they only have them once or twice a year. And so they were ready to roll, and he never saw the shooters. All he did was he immediately, courageously took care to triage all the people. So this fits into this larger problem of September 11th, where we see drills, almost 40-something drills that were mimetic of the actual attack that happened. And meanwhile, the Arab Muslim men who were blamed for September 11th were protected by CIA, framed by Israeli intelligence.
Living with FBI informants.
Right.
Taught how to fly.
Yeah, thank you,
it's all
Jeremy.
there.
We see a lot of those same patterns again happening here with this, as well as that mysterious deposit into the bank account and things like that. So, yeah, I mean, that's definitely something that goes on. Not to say that these two were not involved, but yes, definitely some eyewitness accounts that are countering the official story. And just like after 9/11, they sort of dropped the ball and weren't ever allowed to question
I think the FBI just opening up that house so early as it did for reporters to just walk around and look at people's driver's license and personal information is just
Are you
ridiculous.
absolutely sure that there were no traps set? Because they said that they had set some traps to go off once the police entered the home, but they didn't work.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, that's just dangerous. So yeah, that was
Let's
quite
give Mr.
weird.
Adley the final comment on this.
Yes. I'm sorry, what was the question?
Well, I mean, how do you feel about it? Seems like
State-sponsored terror,
state-sponsored
false
terror,
flags?
and then like saying like Muslims are responsible for all these terror attacks when it may or may not be true. Like this San Bernardino thing, there's definitely some questions of who was involved in it. So, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, if that's the case, then obviously it breaks my heart because then, innocent people are being victimized on both sides of the spectrum. Not only the people that are getting killed, but also the people that have to suffer the backlash. And that's one of the reasons why I'm putting myself out there, is because, look, I mean, if you're mad, get mad at me. Don't get mad at the innocent women and children that you see on the street that are wearing the headscarf or that are dressed in traditional clothes because they're just regular people.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think we're going to stay on this story as well. It's definitely gotten a lot
Reach out to
of
Mr.
traction.
Adley. Reach out to him,
the news.
people out there. Talk to him.
He started a
Continue that
specific Twitter
conversation.
and a webpage for you to ask him your questions. Give it to him, and I think you're ready to open up and have an honest dialogue there. Hamid Adley at Muslim Pledge. Tune in tonight to the InfoWars Nightly News. David Knight will be your host.